Well, good afternoon. I think I said I was going to go live at 3:30, but it's 3:20. The shadows are starting to be cast over these buildings, so I wanted to do a video a little sooner. So I'm a few minutes early. I am here in Washington, D.C. at the corner of 13th, 13th Street and F Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. And I'm usually not here during the day. I'm usually still working. It's been a long day already. So I thought I'd take a little walk. And we're gonna walk around the area and see some of the beautiful architecture in this little square block area. So directly across the street from where I'm standing. And I'll have to do all the research for the names of these buildings. I did not prepare today. This is a completely ad hoc stream today, but it's a beautiful day. And at least there's still some sun on some of these buildings, although the shadows are starting to be cast. So across the street here, on 13th Street, this building, and we'll see if we can get a little closer. I'm not gonna cross the street, but we'll see if we can get a little bit closer and see some of the detail. So the first floor, the first story, as you Brits call the ground floor, well, okay, I'm not even gonna go there. We call this the ground floor or the first floor. I think you Brits call the next floor the first floor or something. Anyway, the bottom floor was built in 1913 and still has the original ironwork on the grates outside the windows. Some little window boxes. I don't know if that's a terrace. I don't think they're really terraces there. I think they're just great work outside of the windows. And then you see the awning there, chain hung, called the Homer Building. But this first floor story was built in 1913. The next two added in 1914. And then the rest of this building built, I believe, in the 1990s. So the original building was only a few stories. Hi, where am I? I am on 13th and F Streets in Washington, D.C. And I'm taking a look at some architecture in this area before all the shadows cover up all the architecture. And I'll have to come back later and add in the description the specific dates for the buildings that I'm not very familiar with, but this one is 1913. Now the corner part of this building was removed. Hello, Donald. The corner part of this building was removed for the Metro Center Metro Station entrance, which you can see there across the street. But really a real nice example of the preservation of the first few floors with the modern building built right on top of it. Keeping the same style, right? Keeping the same character of the building, particularly the color of the brick with the light color brick. All right, we're gonna go up to G Street. And there's the more modern Macy's on the corner here. Metro Center is an area. This is Washington, D.C. Hi, Kiki. Let us know where you're from. This is Washington, D.C. And this Macy's used to be the Hecht Company. The Hecht Company, I think, went completely out of business and was bought by Macy's. So you can see, if you can look way across the street there, it says on the side of the building, it's carved in the Hecht Company. And again, with the first few stories here being the original building, I'm gonna guess built in the 40s, maybe 50, probably 50s. And then the newer building built right on top of it. Similar to this one, but this one didn't really keep the architectural style. Well, it's great to meet you, Kiki. Oh my gosh, well, Chicago, you've got amazing architecture in Chicago. Let's take a look at this one here on the corner of G and 13th Street. I don't know the years for this building. I can't even guess, but a really nice example again in this area. Bad NFL team. I'm always a Chicago Bears fan, so live and die Bears fan. All right, this building here on the corner, I'll try to back up a little bit. Again, I can't cross the street. Maybe I will. Nope, not crossing the street right now. So this building here, I'm gonna guess this is an older building, but there is definitely an Art Deco fixture there. Whether it's a real Art Deco fixture or a reproduction, it's quite nice. Hi, D-Max. Very nice to meet you. Let's take another look at this corner. Actually, if we look a little further up there, that's definitely some Art Deco happening on that corner over there. Across the street, the Church of the Epiphany. And this parking garage next door, that's the parking garage where I park. Right here, now we're on G Street. As we work our way up, we're going to see more examples of some neoclassical architecture, characteristic of this area, along with so many other styles of architecture that have been preserved. Well, Dimax, it's great to meet you all the way from India. Thank you for viewing. If you wouldn't mind giving a like, that'd be awesome. Okay, again, I've been down the street my entire life, and I finally looked down. Always look up, always look down. So here's a plaque to Susan B. Anthony, and I'm wondering what other plaques I missed, because I've already walked past this plaque, and here's Jane Addams. Okay, so we have some awesome American women in history here, memorialized on G Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. I have lived and worked here my entire life, and every day I find something new. Every single day. And here's Dorothea Dix. Pretty cool. Pretty interesting. All right, let's walk our way down here and take a look at some really nice examples. Neoclassical, what's it called? Second Empire and Beaux-Arts style are pretty typical for city architecture in Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia. All of those, northeast cities, mid-Atlantic cities. And this one is the Points of Light Volunteer Pathway, W.E.B. Du Bois, and Mary White Ovington. Awesome. Had no idea those were here. All right, here come a couple of my favorites. So here is the American Immigration Lawyers Association building, which is 1331 G Street in Washington, D.C. This is a wonderful, wonderful example. Definitely preserved. I don't see a plaque for the National Register, but I'll have to look and see if this is a designated historic district. I know down on F Street, there are, I see, okay, this building was built in 1927. I can see the little corner plaque there. And just admire, so we have scroll work, columns up there. We've got the wheat motif in between the windows. Just a really great example. And then next door, even better. This is the Colorado building. And I keep saying, everything's my favorite. Well, this is definitely one of my favorites. See if I can get a position where the sun's not beaming in. This is the Colorado. You can see all the way up there. This is 1341 G Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. And you can see why it's one of my favorites. All of the design work, the American Eagles, pediments above the door. Take a look at the lion motifs over the windows on the top level. And then more wheat. Almost has a little bit of a French influence with the wrought iron, little wrought iron, I don't know what you want to call them, fences around the terraces. And if I can get here before the traffic light changes. Zoom in. Hi, Maker. This is Washington, D.C. I'm on G Street between 14th and 13th Streets Northwest. And we're just admiring the architecture in this area. There are some wonderful examples of historic preservation in this area. And this is the Colorado building. Whoops. I don't get hit by a hybrid car that doesn't make any sound either, so they will do me in. If the potholes don't do me in, the electric cars will. This is 1341 G Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. And it's just amazing. I'll have to do a little research and see what year it was built, because I didn't prepare to stream today, so I didn't prepare any of my architectural factoids like I normally do. This building on the corner of G and 14th Street is the Commercial National Bank building. I'm gonna guess early 1920s or 1930s on that one. I could be wrong. I'll correct myself in the description. And when I get the chance, nope, I'm not gonna be able to cross now. Blackened windows too, I know, right? But these old bank buildings I love because you get the brass work, you get the scroll work, you get the I don't know what you call them. I'm only an amateur historian here when it comes to architecture. I just describe what I see. You get the kind of placards built in. And then let's get another view of the Colorado building. We'll get another view of it from across the street, so we can really take a look at that. And from the Commercial National Bank building, there's another one. The rounded windows, that's indicative, I think, of the Beaux-Arts style. You see that in Washington, Philadelphia, Baltimore. It's just common of the early 1900s architecture in those areas. And then across the street here, we will cross this street. Across the street here, where the Hamilton is, another historic building for sure. And then the majestic Willard Hotel, which we will take a look at. And then we'll go across the street and take a look at the buildings behind us here and get a better view. It's a nice, sunny, warm day, so I just couldn't resist coming outside and checking out some beautiful buildings. And carefully walking across the street when we get the light. Okay, we'll get the light. Nope, we don't have the light. Hate it when that happens. Nope, we have light. We're just a few steps from the White House. The White House is just a few blocks southwest of here, but here's a really nice view of this, of the Colorado building. I'm gonna get a shot of this so that the video might just stall for a second while I take a photo. That'll be my thumbnail. That will end up being my thumbnail. Now, let's take a look at this one, 699 14th Street. Yet another beautifully preserved example. Currently the home of La Grande Boucherie. I don't speak French, I'm sorry, I do apologize. But take a look again at all the really beautifully symmetrical windows, the brass doors, the artwork above the windows and between the windows. It's a really, really nice example of preservation. I'll have to provide a little more info on that and do some research. Always doing some research. Now here's another example. So in between we have a more modern building, probably built in the 80s or the 90s. And oftentimes buildings are raised while preserving other buildings on either side, and then a new building will come up in between. All right, and here's the Hamilton, MXDC, and next to it the Hamilton. This one on the corner, we might guess that maybe the first 2 stories are original. Well, and then I was gonna say a modern structure on top, but not. Well, that's really nice. All right, so take a look at the first few stories. And then sort of plain in the middle, but ornamented on the top floors with the, I guess it looks like wreaths. Whoa, big bus coming. Don't want to get hit by a bus. With the wreaths and the lions near the top. Really beautiful. Ian, hello. Hey, Ian. I have a nice, sunny, beautiful day. It's not absolutely freezing today. Everybody's honking and shouting today. And I'm taking a look at some architecture in Washington, D.C. Got out of the office on time today. What are those lion's heads? I know. I think all the way near the top there. Definitely lion's heads. They're roaring.
It's only 4-player at most.
Really interesting. I mean, this is why, look up and look down when you're in these cities. Okay, I'm going to tell you about this pothole. A few weeks ago, I was coming out of this club after a really nice concert, and I hadn't had anything to drink, but I spilled right here. I went flying. I knocked into my poor husband and knocked him down. He was more injured than I was, but it's funny because that was weeks ago and it's still not fixed. This is the Willard Hotel. And I've photographed it from the other side, from the front. I think I will do that now. While I have the light, I can cross over there. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Ian, I hope you're having a great day. And there's another view of the Hamilton. And the Treasury building is that building there in the distance, and the White House is just on the other side there. In some of my other videos, we took a look at the the fire call boxes that are preserved around Washington, D.C., and here's one here. Julia Ward Howe, who wrote the Battle Hymn of the Republic, is commemorated in this call box. A really interesting way of, preserving them, because we don't use them anymore. I'm just going to take a picture of the sign. This is the Willard Intercontinental I Cannot Afford to Stay There Hotel. And the base of this building was here in 1862. So I've done a few videos about the Civil War adventures of the 1st Maryland Light Artillery Battery called Snow's Battery. It's Battery B. And I did a video showing their march through Washington, D.C., including past this hotel, which used to be called Willard's Hotel, but it is now called the Willard Hotel. Who knows? And it was here. So it was here. I'm sure it's been renovated multiple times. But it was here in 1862. I know from my friends over in Europe and that 1862 is not a big deal. I do admit it's not a big deal when you have world history at your doorstep, but I don't. Obviously, in the United States, we don't have as much history as the rest of you. So at this site, at the Willard Intercontinental Hotel in 1908, the National Press Club was formed. And we're going to take a look at that National Press Club building before we end the stream, because that is another magnificent example of architecture. And sorry for the sun. And here is the Willard. We'll go across the street to the World War I Memorial to get a better view. And can I make it? Yeah, I can make it. Okay. Right. So now I'm at Pershing Plaza, which is the location of the World War I Memorial. And now you can get, sorry. Now you can get a better view of the Willard Intercontinental. Let me see if I can back up just a little bit. Sorry about that. So yeah, again, the first few stories of this building. I know I love the 19th century too. The first few stories were here in 1862. And then it was added on and added on. This is a famous hotel because the White House is just around the corner. It is just around the corner. And so this is where all the famous people have always stayed, those that are visiting the White House. We'll take a look. You can clearly see a few mixes in styles, but the rounded roof is something that both the old and the new parts of the hotel maintained. So sorry for the wobbly walking here, but here's a really good view of the Willard International Hotel. Now, I'm not going to traipse through the World War I Memorial today because when I do my videos at the war memorials, I try to be super respectful. And that's not the stream that I started today. So I want to make sure one memorial, and I have made a video on it on my channel, so you can check it out. We are on 14th Street and the convergence of Pennsylvania Avenue, which is here, and that tall building, the tall tower you see is the U.S. Post Office building. And the other building in the distance is obvious. That's the United States Capitol. The Post Office Tower for many, many years was the, or maybe it still is, I think it still is the official cap of height of skyscrapers in Washington, D.C. So buildings, you'll notice in Washington, there are not huge, outrageous skyscrapers. They cannot be taller, I think, than the Post Office Tower. And I know they can't be taller than the Washington Monument. But this is a really great view here, looking toward the Capitol on Pennsylvania Avenue. All right, we're going to walk back up 14th Street really quickly, so I apologize for bopping. And then we'll take a look at the National Press Building, And then we'll end the stream. Everywhere in Washington, D.C., everywhere you go, there are directional signs and placards and maps and informational signs and plates, to tell you where to go. It's easy. It's really easy. And here are one of the reasons why it's great to just slow down and take a look. I have lived and worked in this city my entire life. And every day I find something new. Every single day. Working in a city I know is not for many people. But I don't know what I would do if I didn't work in a city. Because I love it. All right, so we're back up on 14th Street, approaching F Street. And the F Street Historic District, I forgot to mention, this is a historic district. And you'll see a little bit more why. So here's the building we took a look at. What a mix. I love the way they've preserved. You can see a new structure was built all around this old structure on the corner, right? The new completely surrounding the old, but preserving it absolutely beautifully. I wonder how many people work here every day and don't look up or look down to appreciate what's here. How about you? Do you look up and down?
I look at all the buildings in Washington. That one there.
Yeah,
All the buildings have writings on the top.
they do. They do.
And most people don't even look to see what they have up top.
They don't.
If you walk down here to the press building.
The National Press Building, that's where I'm going.
If you look up right here, you'll see all kind of Masonic signs.
Yes.
Right, not on this side, but as you enter on this side,
Uh-huh.
right here. And if you walk further down 9th Street, you see some of the old, signs that was on the building, like
Yeah.
Mason signs that was on the building.
Well, and the building over there, which I'm going to end at, is the old Baltimore Sun building.
Right.
And it
you
says,
know, right at the end of the block, if you turn on E Street, sharp turn, you the old Washington Post building.
oh, that's
sign,
right. That's right.
Yeah, the old-
Well, thank you, Moses. Your name's Moses. Thank you, Moses.
Yeah. See what that right there is, right there?
Oh, I do.
In that thing right there, take a picture.
Yeah,
of it.
that's
They
where
got
I'm gonna
all
go.
kind of Masonic
Everything
signs,
in
see?
there. Yeah.
See, when they came down Pennsylvania Avenue
Uh-huh.
and made their left in front of the hotel when George Washington did the first Masonic ritual, they go on top of the monument.
Right, right.
You see, and this way.
And you
George
see that on the
Washington-
dollar bill,
Yeah,
too.
you see it on the dollar bill.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and this city is full of Masonic symbols.
It is.
Yeah.
But if
Because
you
gotta-
don't look, you don't
gotta
know.
that every president was a Mason except John F. Kennedy.
Oh, was he?
a
Because he's
Catholic.
Catholic. He was Catholic. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Moses.
All right.
It's great to chat with you. Oh my gosh, I got a tour guide. How wonderful is that?
Told me that
Who told you?
there was a man, I don't want to call him a homeless man,
Uh-huh.
in front of Lafayette Park, in front of the White House.
Yeah.
He wore a hat like Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
and he had always dressed up pretty sharp, but he was homeless. you
Yeah.
know. And he said, at the top of his bill, look up. Well, some people don't even look up at the moon.